all my friends on the call, and I hope I'm not being too presumptuous by using that term. Thank you for such a warm welcome. Thank you, Jeremy, for such a fulsome and, if I may say, far too generous introduction. You're much too kind. I must say, after 3 months into the job, there's still a certain surreal quality about hearing myself introduced as the president nominee of Rotary International. Who'd have believed that would ever happen? I don't know if any of you remember a movie from a few years back. It starred the Scottish actor Robbie Coltrane, who might be better known to you as Hagrid from the Harry Potter movies. Robbie Coltrane was a priest in a small village in the north of Italy, and by some slip of a pen at a papal conclave, he was made Pope. I must say, over the past few weeks, in the wee small hours of the morning, I've often wondered if perhaps a similar slip of the pen might have taken place in Evanston at the nominating committee for RI President last August. And I keep waiting on a second phone call from Anne Matthews, chair of that committee, to say there was some terrible mistake. Fortunately, despite the error, Robbie Coltrane made a rather good job of being Pope, so there was a happy ending to that movie. I just hope that there's a similar happy ending for me on the 30th of June, 2024. It's a great privilege to be part of your meeting today, even though it's only on a virtual basis, and I really would much rather have been able to join you all in person. But of course, it's the very fact that it is on a virtual basis that's allowed so many to join the call from so many different locations. And it really is good to see everyone. When Peter Kyle first asked me to join you today, it was suggested that I talk about my vision for Rotary. I gave the working title of Building Forward Better, and I'll allude to that further as I progress. I was also told I had to do it in 15 minutes, so what a challenge. Clearly, my vision for Rotary going forward is coloured by the events of the past 2 years and the global pandemic in which we find ourselves. And make no mistake, we are still very much in the grip of this pandemic, especially with such inequitable vaccination rates across the world, coupled with the rising infection rates in the US and elsewhere, along with the announcement only last week of yet another mutation of the virus and all that might bring. There can be no argument we live in challenging times. And I hope you don't think I'm exaggerating when I say things might never be the same again. But you know, that need not be a bad thing. I'm a great believer in looking for the positives in any negative. And there are many, many positives coming out of the current challenging and what some have described as a negative situation. Positives like the opportunity we've all been given to take stock and reevaluate our priorities in life and in the society in which we live. Positives like the opportunity for us to take stock and reevaluate the way we operate in Rotary at every level, from club through district to zone and Rotary International. The phrase "build back better" has been used by many during the coronavirus pandemic to describe how things might look in a post-pandemic world. In fact, I think next to the phrase "you're on mute," it's probably one of the most commonly used phrases we've heard over the last couple of years. But as far as Rotary is concerned, it shouldn't be a question of building back better, but of building forward better. Building back implies a return to the way things were. But for me, that's not an option, as we need to learn from our collective experiences over the last 2 years and take Rotary forward into what people are calling the new normal. It would be a tragedy if we don't learn from the past 24 months, a tragedy and a travesty. So we must all seize this opportunity to take Rotary forward into the future. But we need to do it now, before the opportunity passes. We're changing faster than ever at the moment in terms of embracing new technology. And I think we've probably seen the sort of changes that might have taken place anyway over the next 5 to 10 years take place over the last 2 years. This pandemic has given us a unique opportunity to draw a line in the sand and review our entire method of operating. And as we navigate through it, there's much to be learned as regards our future. Some of the most exciting things about Rotary right now and ahead are the opportunities that come as far as the way we operate at club level, which is, after all, the bedrock of Rotary. We have a one-off opportunity just now to engage with those who, during the pandemic, have embraced the concept of volunteer service and have them join us to allow them to continue to give service. Because if clubs are our bedrock, then membership is our lifeblood. And my vision for Rotary is that clubs, groups, call them what you will, should exist everywhere in a style to suit everyone who has a desire to be part of us and help us fulfill our mission. It's always concerned me that so many new members choose to leave Rotary relatively soon after joining. I was staggered to discover that 1.3 million people joined Rotary in the 10 years to July 2029. Yet over the same period, global membership fell by 20,000. 10% of those who join Rotary leave again during the same year they join. Now, something's wrong somewhere. And with respect, the problem doesn't lie with the new members who choose to leave. It lies with us. We must reduce this turnover. And so the retention of new members through proper engagement, and I stress proper engagement with them, will be very much part of my vision for membership as we move forward. It looks like there's going to be a good base to work from following President Shaker's Each One Get One initiative this year. But you know, with that initiative also comes a great responsibility. And so it's essential that each one keeps one in the years ahead. I'm pleased that we have finally formally recognized the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And this will do Rotary good and will definitely help in further promoting us as a place where all can be welcome and all can feel valued. By attracting a truly diverse membership, we'll enhance our presence on the world stage and we'll increase our ability to do impactful service projects, which is, after all, one of the main reasons that we exist. Things are getting better with regards to diversity. You don't need me to sit here and tell you that Rotary will welcome its first female president, Jennifer Jones, on the 1st of July. This is well overdue, and we're happy to be making progress. But still, we see women representing only 24% of Rotary's membership worldwide, and that needs to change. So we've got a lot more work to do, not only to welcome more women into Rotary, but every bit as importantly, to welcome other underrepresented voices as well. Because never forget, diversity is more than simply gender. All minorities matter, and all minorities should be welcome in a Rotary that truly represents our communities. As I've just said, I want Rotary to be a place where all can be welcomed and all can feel valued. To turn to another element of Rotary going forward, allow me to say something about our own charity, the Rotary Foundation. If clubs are our bedrock and membership is our lifeblood, the foundation is the fuel that provides the energy that allows us to carry out our work. As a result of recent developments surrounding polio, and together with the demands of the pandemic and the addition of the environment as an area of focus, our reputation, our ability, and the opportunity to serve has grown substantially, and this requires a strong foundation. Many countries are great supporters of the foundation, and frankly, it could not do what it does without that support. But it saddens me that around 2/3 of Rotarians worldwide make no personal contribution to the Rotary Foundation, particularly at times like these, when the demands on it are increasing. Past RI President Ravi Ravindran, a man for whom I have the utmost regard, recently said, "Not everyone has the resource to make a large contribution, but every Rotarian has the ability to make some contribution to our foundation." And I agree. It's simple economics. We cannot take out of the foundation more than we put in, hence the hard decisions that have had to be taken recently regarding the level of funding for things like global grants. So while I'm president, I hope to support the foundation, not only to increase giving overall, but also I hope to persuade each Rotarian to contribute just something to what is, after all, their foundation, and in doing so gain true ownership of it. During my 37 years in Rotary, I've seen the innovation and the changes we've made with my own eyes. I've seen what works, and perhaps more importantly, I've seen what does not work. Which brings me nicely to the final element of my vision, which time allows me to share with you today, and something that I have always believed in and which should be central to Rotary going forward: the concept of continuity. I've always been a great advocate of continuity in Rotary. I've tried to practice it at every level of Rotary leadership, be it club, district, or zone, and I see no reason to change that now. I believe strongly in the concept of Rotary's years, plural, where there's a seamless transition between leaders, rather than the concept of my year, singular, where one individual takes us in one direction, only for other individuals to take us in different directions in subsequent years, before we often end up right back where we started, where individuals won't embark on any initiatives that don't complete in their year because they worry they won't get the credit for it. I'm not bothered who gets the credit for something, as long as that something is worthwhile and is done properly. Accordingly, I'm already working with President Shaker and President-elect Jennifer, and I look forward to working with my successor whenever he or she is identified in a true spirit of continuity that sees Rotary move forward on a straight and steady course towards an even better future. My friends, as always, time is the great enemy. And I must draw my remarks to a close in order that I stick to my brief of talking for 15 minutes, although I fear I must be getting very close, or may even have exceeded that time already. As any of you who have heard me speak over the last 3 months or so will have heard me quote the US Senator, the late Robert Kennedy, who, addressing the University of Cape Town in South Africa in June 1966, said, and I quote, "Like it or not, we live in interesting times. They are times of danger and uncertainty, but they are also among the most creative of any time in the history of mankind. And everyone here will ultimately be judged, will ultimately judge themselves on the effort they have contributed to building a new world society and the extent to which their ideals and goals have shaped that effort." End quote. 56 years on from Kennedy's address, in these current times of danger and uncertainty, let us recognise that they are also among the most creative of any time in the history of Rotary. Let us make sure we are judged on the effort we have contributed to building a new Rotary, and the extent our combined goals and ideals have shaped that effort as we build forward better. Thank you all for giving me this brief opportunity to meet and speak with you. Thank you all for everything you do for Rotary. I wish everybody every success in the years ahead. We're all embarking on a very exciting journey together, and I look forward to working alongside you. Thank you very much indeed.